When we first started out learning about functions, I showed you there were several ways of imagining a function. So we could imagine a function as being like a machine. When you put in, let's say, a number, it will then spit out another number. So let's just say this. And also you could also visualize it as a graph. A function is like a graph, but a graph that doesn't go back on itself. So here you've got a graph that spits out, in a way, spits out three um, three uh, uh, three values. So for example, if you put in the number a here, so in this case, this is not a function because you've got a machine here. Well, we can't really call it a function. You've got a machine here that when you put in the number a, it will spit out three values here. And remember, a function can only spit out one value. So a function is like a graph that doesn't go back on itself, meaning that if you draw a vertical line, it will only give you one value. If you draw another vertical line, here I drew this vertical line here, it gave me three values. So this here is not a function, whereas this one here is a function. And another way of looking at it is that you've got another way of looking another way of trying to imagine what a function is here. A function here. This here is your domain here, domain, and this is your range here. Okay, so when you put in, let's say, a number 3, if you 3 is in your domain, if you put in the number 3, it will spit out the number 7. Okay, but you can never have a case where you put in let's say a number 4 and then it spits out the number let's say 8 and also a number 9. You see, this here is not a function because it's you put in one value here, it spits out two values here. But you are allowed to have this here. Hang on. You are allowed to have this. You are allowed to put in, let's say, a number 7, and then it spits out the number, let's say, 11. You are allowed to have this. You are allowed to put in, let's say, a number -3, and then it also spits out the number 7. You see, my point here is that a function, you can have two values here spitting out to the same value over here. So this here is a function. You're just not allowed to have you're just not allowed to have one value where you spit out two different values here. You're not allowed to do this, but you are allowed to do this. You see, a function, hang on, a function where you have two values spitting out the same value over here. This here is called a many to one. Many, and then it spits out to the one value here. So you are allowed to have this. Okay, so a many to one function is a function where you can have multiple values over here spitting to the same value over here. Okay, so I will continue in the next video. So the point of this video is that a many to one function is when you have when you have multiple values over here spitting out to the same value over here. Okay, but you just can't spitting out to the same value over here, but you just can't have a case where you have one value spitting out to two different values over here. Okay, so this here is not a function. I will continue in the next video. Okay.